Okay, so to make a graphic that I would typically put in a signature or at the bottom of a website or as a header of some sort of interesting creative graphic, this is what I would typically make. And basically, we're going to open up Photoshop, and this program that you see here is called Rocket Dock. I mentioned it in a previous video, and it's a really great free program that you just slide your icons into it, and they're there for you to use. And I have it set so that when I don't want that menu to show, it hides at the top of the screen, and then when my mouse goes up there, it reappears. So let's wait for Photoshop. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, alright. So first we're going to make a new document. I typically make my document 500 pixels wide and 200 in height. And if you're like me, I do not like working with the background. I usually make a new layer, and then I select a color as the background, and I hit Alt Backspace to make the entire area that specific swatch. Make a new layer so that I can start adding my content. It's really good to use layers because if you have a lot of detail in something and you need to edit it, going back and forth and doing stuff on certain layers, moving it around really helps. I used to hate working in layers, but after a while I realized that they are a really great feature in this program. So next I'm going to choose a paintbrush with a cool, smoke effect on it. And you can get these brushes anywhere on DeviantArt and Google. They're not really hard to find. All you have to do is type in free Photoshop paintbrushes. And I'm sure GIMP has the same things. And there are so many you can choose from. Okay, I'm going to pick a light swatch and add it. You want to keep things at a good contrast because it really helps the eye build lines and see compositions in their best form. If you have too many colors that are the same variation, then it becomes very confusing and distracting to the eye.
So the better you can do that, the better it is to, have, because your people are going to look right at your artwork if you see that sudden contrast. So rather than keeping this just that generic light blue, I'm going to open up the effects panel and add a gradient overlay to it. I'm going to select the rainbow with the transparency one. And as you can see, you can preview the effects before you actually make them final. So I'm going to change the angle so that it's at, slant. I'm going to change the scale so that the rainbow is stretched out further than closer together. I'm also going to change the opacity so that it has like this old effect on it. And when you're happy with the settings that you create, hit OK, and there they are. Now I'm going to make another layer and add a different type of smoke effect. Maybe something more vertical. Nah, let's try something like... No, that's too overpowering. Let's see. Yeah, one great feature is the undo button, I'm telling you. It's one of the greatest things ever. I think I already did that one. One thing that sucks about having a lot of brushes is you don't know which ones to use. It's a very big problem that I tend to have. Because I like them all, and I can't use them all. So, let's just find one. Okay. We'll leave that there. Maybe. See, there's a pocket of black here that I want to fill with something, but I don't want it to be too much color, but I don't want it to be not enough color at the same time. So I'm hoping I can find something that can make this work. Okay, I guess that's good for now. Maybe add something right there. Alright, so we can see this rainbow gradient in the background, and this blue is coming up from that. I have this stuff on separate layers because if I were to put the blue on the same layer, it would have that same rainbow effect. Or if I wanted to make the blue do something different than this rainbow effect, then that would change that too. So having it on separate layers allows you to do different things with different items, and it looks like it's all the same thing. So now, let's add some text. I typically download fonts for free from dafont.com. They have an extremely large selection of fonts to use. Fortunately, my favorite font is selected right now, from a previous project I worked on. And let's call this Smokin'. And here we go. Okay. So as you can see, because of that light blue smoke and these letters right here, that smoke part is very hard to read, and it's kind of annoying at the same time. I don't know if you're artsy like me, but I'm very picky about things when it comes to aesthetics, and to me, this is not aesthetically pleasing. If you took away the text, it would be wrong layer, ha ha ha. If you took away the text layer, that to me looks perfectly fine because there's an even balance between color and negativity, which is the black background. But then also you add this text, and over here it looks good because there's a lot of black to separate the blue, but over here it gets kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my ultimate favorite style, which is this negative effect. And that is not it. It moved. Okay. This is the negative effect. And we're going to move the text to the top layer so that there's nothing covering it. Now, as you can see, it's so much easier to read this text. But unfortunately, this white outer glow has got to be tamed down because it is too powerful for the space that it's in. And it takes too much attention away from the smoke. So we're going to open up the effects panel again. And we're going to take up the range of this, white outer glow. We're going to make the spread go down. You can make this however you please. I'm making it the way I like it most. Alright. Rather than wasting your time with my pickiness, we can move this around, put it up here, right in the middle, wherever we want. But
you know, I'm kind of satisfied with having it down this lower corner. So now that we have what we want, I'm actually going to take the opacity down this layer. That blue is still a little overpowering. Alright, so now that we have our text effects, our smoke effects, and this black background, we're going to make a border. Now what I do is I make it a couple pixels wide. I try and get it as even as possible. I mean, obviously I'm human, so this isn't going to be 100% perfect, and I'm too lazy to use some sort of formula to make it that way. Let's select the inverse, because what we want is we want it to be this border. Because if you have it the other way, it'll make everything on the inside of that dotted line whatever color we make the border, but if we inverse it, then it selects only this outside part. Again, I'm going to use Alt Backspace to make this blue background border, and Control D, deselect everything, and now we have this really clean light blue border that complements the light blue we used earlier throughout this composition. We have smoke and the black contrasting each other, as well as this negative text effect. As you can see, the smoke is still a little distracting in the smoke part, but it's not as bad as it was before. It's got enough, you know, attention that people are going to look at it and not be bored with it, but it's not too busy at the same time. We could actually probably add an effect, another effect to this text. And I don't want it to be rainbow again because that would just make it, yeah, see, that's just making it turn into that. So let's not go greedy on that. Maybe we can change the outer glow color to, instead of it being white, we can change it to maybe a yellow. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.